Here are my 3 audience members, 1, 2, and 3. When I say the name Clara Barton, most people don't even know who she is, or if they do, all they know is that she was somehow associated with the Red Cross. When I say the name Kim Kardashian, everyone knows that she's a star of her own reality series. It's sad that we can forget an American icon, but all of us know the reality stars. Let me paint you a picture. In 1821, Clara Barton was born on Christmas Day. She was the youngest of 5 children. She would receive some of her education from home tutoring from her brothers and sisters. She would eventually go on to become a teacher herself and open one of the first free public schools in New Jersey. Shortly after that, she would journey to Washington, D.C., where she would become one of the first female federal employees. Even if I were to end it there and say that was all she accomplished, the fact that these two still affect Americans every day is undeniable. Where would we be without public school? And even in the 1800s, Clara Barton was forging ahead for women's rights. But that wouldn't be enough for Barton. She would go on and end up becoming a nurse for soldiers. In the Civil War, there were many soldiers that were harmed and shipped to Washington, D.C., where she was located. The hospitals filled so quickly that there wasn't room for a lot of the soldiers. So, Clara opened her house and actually let soldiers live there as a hospital. They also opened one of the federal buildings that wasn't being used, and they also were hospitalized there. Clara was their nurse, their friend, and their cook. She would write letters home for them, and she really wanted to help them. But once they were healing, she felt like she had to do more. So she persuaded the government to allow her to travel on to the front lines to help soldiers. She would follow the army into battle, and once someone was injured, she would actually run onto the battlefield to help the wounded. Eventually, when the war was coming to an end, she would open up an office that handled missing military men. She received over 70,000 letters, and they identified 22,000 men. Because of her work on the battlefield, she earned the nickname, the Angel of the Battlefield. Once that office that she was running was closed, it would eventually become part of the Red Cross, which she founded herself. When the Red Cross comes into action, they're there for every war, every natural disaster. Whenever there's a hurricane, they come to the aid first before anyone else, and they distribute clean water, food, make safe places to stay, and even financial help to rebuild the homes. And you can rest assured that when the first responders show up on the scene from the Red Cross, the Angel of the Battlefield is standing next to the volunteers in the most devastated area. Not only was Clara Barton iconic, but in a time of darkness and hate, she was a ray of light and hope.